WISC-TV 3, Madison.
Live from Madison's news team with the latest news, weather, and sports. This is News 3 Midday.
Hi, and welcome to Midday. Rob Starbuck joins us today. In the headline, Soviet President Gorbachev is flexing his muscles.
And Milwaukee's police chief is expected to decide what to do with 3 suspended officers.
And we'll walk through the biggest rose garden in the United States.
This will be a good day to do it, too. And the weather, Gary's been checking on what looks to be a pretty good forecast, seasonal.
Very comfortable, let's put it that way. Temperatures in the middle 70s and some hazy sunshine. Right now our temperature specifically is 76 degrees. We'll take a look at the season's 3rd tropical storm of the year later on.
All right, Gary, in the news today, Mikhail Gorbachev is showing he still has some power in the Soviet Union. At his insistence today, the Soviet Congress ended the old central government. They replaced it with a new interim government. The transitional phase is to lead to a new, much looser union of republics. Lawmakers acted after Gorbachev accused them of dragging their feet. The Baltics are waiting to see if Soviet President Gorbachev follows through on his promise to formally recognize them after today's session. A U.S. diplomat visiting the Baltics says President Bush will ask Congress to provide direct economic aid to Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. The U.S. has refused so far to provide that sort of aid to the Soviet Union until it establishes a market economy. There are reports that Soviet citizens are defecting to northern China, but Chinese officials are denying those reports. Japanese newspapers say thousands of Communist Party officials and KGB officers defected after last month's failed coup. A Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman calls that story groundless. West European officials say peace talks on Yugoslavia will not begin unless fighting stops. But the gunfire may be drowning out that warning. The talks are set for Saturday in the Netherlands. Meantime, Croatia says Serbian rebels and the Yugoslav National Army are again attacking a Croatian border town. Croatia wants to secede from Yugoslavia. Lawyers in Miami are sifting through hundreds of prospective jurors to hear the case against Manuel Noriega. This is the first day of jury selection for the drug trafficking trial of the ousted Panamanian leader. Defense attorneys say it will be difficult to find an impartial jury. Before the end of this week, 3 police officers suspended in the wake of the Jeffrey Dahmer investigation could know their fates. Milwaukee Police Chief Philip Ariola is expected to decide on their cases soon. The officers were suspended after they returned a bleeding 14-year-old boy to Dahmer's apartment. Dahmer says he later killed the boy. It's a case of green crime. 2 Wisconsin men have admitted to taking steel from a Rockton plant and selling it to a recycling center. 57-year-old Thomas W. Stevenson of Beloit and 53-year-old Lyle Crum of Broadhead entered guilty pleas to selling more than 837,000 pounds of new and scrap steel. They made about $329,000 on the deal. They could get 15 years in prison for this and pay $500,000 in fines. AIDS activists wanted to make a point to North Carolina Senator Jesse Helms this morning, so members of ACT UP inflated a 15-foot nylon replica of a condom on the roof of the senator's suburban Washington home. On the condom, a message read, "A condom to stop unsafe politics. Helms is deadlier than a virus." When police arrived, the protesters deflated the display and then they left. Helms could not be reached for comment. MTV will hand out its Music Video Awards tonight. The best video of the year is traditionally dominated by the heavyweights of the industry. This year, however, with the exception of REM, there is almost nothing but new faces. Even REM isn't a conventional band, but soared big this year with their Losing My Religion. We'll take a break now with some music from one of the newcomers. CNC Music Factory's Gonna Make You Sweat.
You might even be doing this yourself, pulling into fast food restaurants for breakfast. You know, more and more people are.
Yeah, it's quick, it's convenient, but is that food good for you? Consumer Reports just put fast food breakfast to the test, and here are the results.
Bacon, egg, and cheese bagel.
Ask people why they eat breakfast at a fast food restaurant, and a nutritious meal is rarely the reason.
It's quick and it gets me what I need to get my day started. I'd be a mess without it.
It tastes fairly good and it's on the way to work.
It tastes good and it's quick.
But Consumer Reports says you can get a nutritious meal if you know what to order. They recently tested the breakfast fare from McDonald's, Hardee's, and Burger King. In the labs, food technicians counted calories, measured cholesterol, and analyzed fat content. The higher the percentage of fat, the worse the meal. The fattiest fare, Burger King's scrambled egg platter with all the trimmings. A whopping 62% of its calories come from fat. Another poor choice, McDonald's and Hardee's sausage and biscuit sandwiches. Connie Corbett heads up the food division at Consumer Reports.
They do have fewer calories, but what's important is that more than half of those calories come from fat, and the meat and the biscuits are fatty.
A better meal despite the cholesterol, McDonald's Egg McMuffin and Burger King's bagel with egg and cheese. Only 35% of their calories come from fat.
Bill, we have a pancake and bacon platter.
But the best way to start your day is with Hardee's pancake platter. Even with the bacon, it gets only 17% of its calories from fat. Just go easy on the butter. This is really interesting. If you want a truly fat-free breakfast food, Consumer Reports recommends you try McDonald's new Apple brand muffin. It has no fat whatsoever and has fewer than 200 calories. Didn't know that.
I don't either.
Prices on the New York Stock Exchange higher in moderate trading today.
Now, the Dow is down a bit on the noon hour, down 3.5 points to 3004.70. The state ag department is questioning a USDA report on conditions at some state dairy plants. Wisconsin ag officials say reports of unsanitary conditions at 6 dairy plants were based on misleading and outdated information from the U.S. Ag Department. An Ag Department safety official says federal inspectors were looking at federal cheese, butter, and ice graters and not dairy plants. The Wisconsin Ag official says the USDA did not report on any findings of unsanitary conditions. Let's check the ag market now. The barrels and gilts, a trend moderate to light. U.S. 1s to 3s, 43 to 44. The sow market is steady. U.S. 1s to 3s, 32 to 35. On the Milwaukee cattle market, steers, a trend steady. Steers 59 to 64. Cutter cows 51 to 55. Feeder bulls $1 to 110, and the feeder heifers 135 to 185. On the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, choice steers for October up $1.05. December up 80. Live hog market is up for October and December. Feeder steer market for September, October, both up. On the Chicago Board of Trade, corn for September is down. December corn also down. Wheat for September and December down. Soybeans for September, December also down. On the cash grain market, Milwaukee corn is down 1 and Dubuque down 0.5. Soybeans in Milwaukee and Dubuque both down. The egg market today, supply adequate. Extra large 68 to 79 and the mediums 56 to 63. Almost threw it away there.
Right.
And tomatoes, there are just a ton of them on the market.
It's kind of like attack of the killer tomatoes. If tomatoes are taking over your kitchen, Mr. Food says, throw them in sauce. Here's his recipe.
With all the tomatoes around, you know, we always end up with a few extra ones starting to go soft on us. Well, we don't want to throw them out. Well, there's a few ways they'd be perfect for our pasta. And all we have to do is peel them first. Oh, it's simple. You see, what we do is core a few tomatoes, and we lower them into a pot of boiling water. And we let them stay there for 20, 30 seconds. Then we take them out, and careful, they're hot. So let them cool a little bit, just enough to handle, and that skin, well, it'll come off like a zipper. Look at that. Now, if we want to take the seeds out, that's easy too. Just cut them in half, crossways, and a little squeeze. Look at that. Seeds and juice come right out. Now, if we put that in our salad, our dressing would get that taste through and through. And for pasta, we chop those tomatoes up, mix them into some buttered cooked spaghetti, a few chopped scallions, a little garlic, some Italian seasoning, salt, pepper, maybe some Parmesan, and you've got tomato-laced pasta primavera that have them begging for how did you do it? And if you like red sauce, just add some of those chopped tomatoes to a thick bottled sauce. And now they know that it's your own secret recipe sauce, because it tastes so fresh and chunky. Extra tomatoes, or the starting to go soft ones, perfect for, ooh, it's so good.
And in his next report, he has something else that's quite good. He shares his recipe for ranch muffins.
Oh, we should come over to my house and make dinner.
It'd be a lot easier.
Do that deal with the tomatoes.
Yeah.
Gary serves up a dandy forecast when we come back.
Gary Canalte's weather has the AMS seal of approval.
Bit of a seasonal day, kind of cool, a little damp. maybe, kind of, sort of?
Well, we could see a shower or two late this afternoon, but I think most of the rain will stay well up to the north of us. Good news, because the Muskies play tonight.
That's right, and you got a special forecast coming.
That's right. We'll take a look at that in a second. Let's look at the numbers right now. 76 degrees both here at Channel 3 and at the airport. High today is the current temperature, and the overnight low dropped to another chilly 47 degrees. Winds are a little brisk out of the southwest at 15 miles per hour. Dew point at 50, humidity at 40%, so the air is still kind of dry. First thing, the big forecast for tonight, well, the Muskies play their first playoff game against the Kane County Cougars, 7 o'clock at Warner Park. We're looking for partly cloudy skies, about a 1 in 5 chance of a shower, and a temperature at game time around 68 degrees. Bring a jacket, though, because temperatures will cool in the lower 60s by the end of the game. Winds out of the west at 6 to 12 means it'll be coming in from the center field wall. Let's take a look at another weather feature. Tropical Storm Claudette has just formed out here in the Atlantic Ocean. Here's the coordinates, about 665 miles southeast of Bermuda, which is right up about here. The storm is traveling to the southwest about 3 miles per hour. We put it into motion, and you can see how the storm has kind of come together over the last couple of hours. Top winds about 40 miles per hour, and some strengthening is possible. We could use the moisture from a tropical storm or some kind of weather system. The farmers still need it, and we're still seeing excessively dry soils across southern Wisconsin. No tropical storms in our future, though. In fact, the showers, which are now mainly north and west of La Crosse, are not going to help to break this drought by any stretch of the imagination. Just some light showers, mainly moving across northern Wisconsin. A sprinkle or two is possible here in the southern part of the state. This is an upper air disturbance swings across the country. Most of the active weather was back in Nebraska with some showers and thunderstorms there. We just have the leftover moisture from that. And national radar shows the showers starting to die out now from southeastern Minnesota back into north central Iowa and far northwestern Wisconsin. There is a secondary cool front trying to drop southward. It's not going to have too much of a chance to make it all the way down, but a little area of low pressure is touching off the showers. By tomorrow, that front kind of washes out in our vicinity. We'll be back to partly sunny skies and temperatures about seasonable for this time of year in the middle 70s. As we look at our forecast for this afternoon, we'll see partly sunny skies. The clouds will thicken up as the afternoon progresses, though, and we could see a shower late today. Our high should make it up to about 78. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with a low finally dropping down to 54 degrees with a chance of a shower or two. And then tomorrow, well, back to partly sunny skies and temperatures right in the mid-70s, about where we should be this time of year. Looking at the extended forecast, we're going to see sunny to partly sunny skies right through the weekend. Temperatures will be warming back up into the middle 80s by the early part of next week. In fact, I just took a look at our 6 to 10 day outlook, and it's calling for above normal temperatures for most of next week. So could get a little warm again.
And that breeze will be blowing over that center field wall. Are you sure about that?
It'll be coming in from center field, but the Muskies, I tell you, with their speed, they don't need to hit a home run to win.
And he'll be yelling the loudest tonight, I bet.
That's right. Probably won't have a voice tomorrow.
You better. Okay, thanks, Gary. Joe?
Pick up your phone, give us a call with your plant questions. Jim Swanson of Felly's here to answer those questions when we come back. Stay with us.
Let's talk plants and flowers now.
Let's talk plants and flowers with Jim Swanson of Felly's. He joins us now. If you've got any questions for him, give us a call at 271-4321. I'm standing by here by the phone, and we'll take those questions. But before we get to those, Jim, you brought something along here, and this signifies a very special day.
Right. This weekend is Grandparents' Day, Sunday.
Something to know, okay.
Right. And this is an arrangement, I believe it's the FTD arrangement for grandparents this week.
Okay, great.
That's nice. That's pretty.
And fitting. I know that they went a long time without a special day for grandparents. So now they've got one. Here's your chance.
So you have Mother's Day, and you got Father's Day, and there's Sweetest Day in October. They did come up with another holiday here a few years ago. It's called Grandparents' Day.
All right. Grandparent equality.
Midday Anchor Day.
Yeah. Really. Let's come up with a deal there. Let's take our first call.
Paulette.
Hi.
Hi.
I got a rock garden in the backyard, and my sister-in-law gave me some. They're called red lanterns. Now, can you use them for decoration on the table, and what are they for? I mean, what can you use them for? They spread like wildflowers.
They're basically they are perennial, is what they are there. And you can dry them. You can take, you can cut them and dry them.
Okay.
And use them in an arrangement.
These are the kind of orangish.
Right. Correct.
They hang on the plant. All right. So you can. Just
once you cut them and then you can take and dry them, and you see a lot of them. I've been down at the farmers market there on Saturday where you see a lot of different usual types of arrangements that these people come down and put them together with.
Is it, before we get one quick call, isn't this a time to take care of some plants, bring some in, and also a time to plant some vegetables? Garlic, I guess, is a good one.
There are some cold crops that can be planted at this particular time, yes, and also a time, you know, do bring your plants in. Okay. Start considering bringing them in and treat them, clean them off, put a systemic in the soil for insects, and wash them off real good and bring them inside, because the weather is going to turn cold, I think, pretty fast here now.
Get caught out there. Bev, go ahead.
Yeah, I was wondering how you plant out mum plants so that they'll bloom next year, if you're supposed to cover them, or what are you supposed to do with them?
Okay, one of the things as far as mums go, garden mums or hardy mums, what people call them, you have to remember that our climate is changing very drastically here in the last several years in Wisconsin and the whole upper Midwest here. So the most important thing is on the mums, when you plant them outside, is let them go dormant. Do not cut them off in the fall here, and mulch them over real good. Use leaves. If you use straw or if you use hay for mulch, the problem is you're going to wind up with usually a lot of mice in there. So use leaves as much as possible.
Okay. Dennis, you have a call. Hi, Dennis.
Hi. I have a question. I have some peony bushes. Red ones and white ones. Now, when the flowers finally fell off of the red ones, there's like a little seed pod in the center. It's about an inch long, and it's full of seeds. Now, is there any way these can be planted to get new plants going?
Yes, there is. Like I say, as far as taking those, I have not done this personally. I could probably give you a little bit more information on that if you want to give me a call at the greenhouse. That I could do.
There's a special way to do this. You want to maybe get them growing first before you actually plant them. Okay. I give them a call at Felly's. Sandy, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a Norfolk that the pine needles are turning brown. What am I doing wrong?
Okay, usually it's a watering condition, and most people tend to overwater their plants than they do underwater. You know, you have to remember, overwatering is not the amount of water that you give a plant, but it's the frequency of times that you water. So water very thoroughly each and every time that you water, but lift the pot. If it feels light and weight, water it. If it doesn't, let it go. Just don't go by the feel of the soil, because the top part of the soil dries out, due to air circulation.
I see.
So it can be dry within a half an inch of the bottom, and as long as there's moisture there, those roots will take that up. So go by weight when it's practical, when you can do that.
Okay, unfortunately, that's all of our time. Jim, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We're going to continue our plant theme now. If you like roses, you'll want to stay with us. Coming up, a stroll through one of the biggest rose gardens in the U.S.
Talkback gives viewers a chance to do just that. Write to Mark and Beth, and they'll respond to your letters on News 3 live at 5.
You know, it's always coming up roses in Wasco, California.
Rob, it is known as the nation's largest rose grower. Reporter Carl Schweitzer takes a look at the biggest rose field in the country.
It's the rose capital of the United States, as more than 3/4 of America's rose bushes are grown here, in the brilliantly colored fields surrounding Wasco.
That's a lot of rose bushes when you figure 75% of the nation's total. That could be as many as 30 million plants.
More than 140 garden varieties are produced, each bred for color, fragrance, and form. Every year, several new varieties of roses are introduced, and this one is special. It was selected by and named for First Lady Barbara Bush.
This rose was selected by Mrs. Bush about 2 years ago from a group of 6 that were submitted to her for her selection to be named after her.
And there are 3 reasons why all types of roses thrive here in this open-air nursery.
Number 1 is the soil type, a light sandy soil. Number 2 is the water. We have excellent quality water. And number 3 is the climate. We have 325 frost-free days a year here, and we can do a lot of things in growing that can't be done anywhere else in the country because of our climate.
As the popularity of growing roses increases, interestingly, some older varieties are among the favorites.
We're seeing a change back to more fragrance, where before the customers were wanting more color, more form in the plant, better foliage. Of course, everyone's interested in disease resistance because these plants go all over the United States.
Drought-tolerant rose bushes can also handle the cold weather. The rose has been around for some 44 million years, so you know it's a hardy plant. Reporting from Wasco, California, Carl Schweitzer for CBS News.
3/4 of all the rose bushes right there.
Right there in
the country.
Wasco, California. All right. Later today on TV3, Mark Kane spends time with theater legend Helen Hayes and will answer your letters and phone calls on Talkback. And then at 6, Dr. Zorba Pastor with details of a new gallstone operation technique. Then we'll go to a playground that's made especially for visually impaired and physically handicapped children.
I kind of like how you said Talkback. You said Talkback.
Talkback. That Mark Kane told me to say Talkback. Trying to get that deep voice.
How about the weather?
Well, partly sunny skies today.
Well, I'm out of time.
Just a couple of showers, high of 78. There is one little shower showing up on radar.
There is.
So
okay.
We found that.
All right. And the wind is going to blow out of the center field.
Blow in from center field, but
center field.
I just talked to the Muskies. There's plenty of seats available, but get to the ballpark early. Gates open at 6 o'clock.
But we won't be reporting on this tomorrow because there is no midday tomorrow as far as we know because of tennis. So until Monday.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Gary.
See you later.
Have a good day.
Thank you for watching News 3 Midday. Please join us for more news at 5, 6, and 10.